Ladies and gentlemen, dreamers and doers, let me begin with a very simple truth that might shock you. I have failed more times than most people have dared to try. And no, that's not a catchy motivational quote. It's a confession. A resume of rejections, if you will. When I was a child, I failed the primary school entrance exam not once, but twice. Most kids cry when they don't get candy. I cried over math. I failed middle school 3 times. Yes, I was that consistent. I applied to Harvard not once, not twice, but 10 times. 10 hopeful applications, 10 rejection letters. Harvard practically had a folder named No Jack, but it didn't stop there. I went to apply for a job at KFC when they opened in my city. Out of 24 people, 23 got hired. Can you guess who the one unlucky guy was? Yep, me. Even the guy who spilled his drink during the interview got hired. The chicken got the job, I didn't. Now you might be thinking, Jack, why are you telling me all of this? Because failure isn't just part of my story, it's the foundation of it. I'm not here today to make you feel sorry or to paint a gloomy picture. I'm here to show you how every one of those failures became a brick I stepped on as I climbed. I call this philosophy failing forward. It means taking your defeats and turning them into fuel. It means using your setbacks as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks. It's how I turned rejection into redirection, and why I believe that your failures can be the very thing that shapes your success. So let's talk about how to fall the right way. Let's be honest. Failure is like that gift your aunt gives you at Chinese New Year. You open it hoping for money, but it's socks. Ugly socks. But those socks keep your feet warm when the road gets cold. My friends, failure is a gift. It doesn't look pretty. It doesn't smell like success. But it has the seeds of your next big win. When I started Alibaba, we didn't have money, we didn't have a business model, and to be very honest, we didn't even have hope. We had 18 people cramped in my apartment eating instant noodles, and our biggest strength, we had nothing to lose. You see, when you're already at the bottom, the only direction is up. One of the first and hardest lessons failure teaches you is this: nobody owes you anything. Not your parents, not your teachers, not your friends, not your boss, and definitely not the world. I used to believe that effort alone was enough. I thought if I worked hard, kept a good attitude, and showed passion, the universe would reward me with a little trophy that said success. I honestly believed someone would eventually notice and say, "Oh, Jack, you're trying so hard. Come here, let me give you a company, a customer base, and $1 billion idea wrapped in a red ribbon." Guess what? It never happened. And now I say thank God it didn't, because when you realize that the world doesn't owe you anything, something powerful happens. You stop waiting for permission. You stop sitting in the corner hoping to be picked. You stand up, take ownership, and build your own table. You realize you're not entitled to success, but you're empowered to create it. You are the author of your own life. You are the director of your own movie. And even if nobody claps when your scene starts, you keep going, because now you're free. If nobody owes you anything, then you don't owe anyone your excuses either. You don't have to follow someone else's script. All you really need to begin is courage, a little creativity, and maybe a bowl of instant noodles to keep you going during the long nights. That's how I started. That's how anyone starts. When the world owes you nothing, you're in the best position because everything you create, you truly own. If you fall backward, it's because you were looking at the past. But if you fall forward, it means you're leaning into the future. Every time I failed, I asked myself one question. What is this teaching me? Not why me? That's a victim's question. I ask, what now? That's a warrior's question. When I failed at getting into Harvard 10 times, I learned persistence. When I failed in business ventures, I learned about people, about systems, and about humility. And when I was rejected at KFC, I learned that maybe I shouldn't be near fried chicken. Don't turn your failure into a soap opera. Don't gather your friends and say, "Oh, life is hard, nobody loves me, even my cat is ignoring me." No, use failure like a scientist. Gather data. Why did the plan fail? Was it the timing? Was it the team? Was it you? That's okay, especially if it was you, because then you know what to fix. When Alibaba failed in the US market early on, it hurt, but I didn't cry. Okay, maybe a little, alone, at night. But I turned that failure into a case study. We studied our mistakes like a PhD student studies a thesis. One of the smartest things I did when starting Alibaba was building a team of people who were smarter than me. I had nothing to offer them but vision and instant noodles. And they still said yes. Why? Because they believed in failing forward too. You need people in your life who can look at your mistake, laugh, and say, okay, now what? Not people who say, I told you so, or let's give up. Build a tribe of failures. I mean it. People who have failed forward and survived, those are your warriors. Let me repeat this because it's so important. Rejection is redirection. If I had gotten into Harvard, maybe I would have become a boring professor wearing a sweater vest, walking around telling people to read textbooks. But because Harvard rejected me, I became an entrepreneur who hires Harvard graduates. Sometimes life slams the door in your face to make sure you walk through the right one. So next time you hear no, don't cry. Say thank you and then walk to the next opportunity. You want to be successful? Good. Then fail small and fail often. Failing small is like lifting small weights. It builds your failure muscles. When we were building Alibaba, we failed in product design, we failed in customer service, and we even failed in naming the company. Yes, one of the early names we considered was Spicy Dumpling Network. I thank the gods every day we didn't go with that. These small failures prepared us for the storms ahead. One of the biggest obstacles that holds people back from trying something new is not the fear of failure. It's the fear of looking stupid. Yes, let's just be honest about it. People are terrified of embarrassment. They don't want to raise their hands and ask questions. They don't want to try and fail in front of others. They don't want someone to laugh at them. But here's the truth, you will look stupid. And that's perfectly okay. In fact, I recommend it. When I first started using a computer, I didn't even know how to turn it on properly. I thought the CD drive was a coffee holder, I'm serious. I remember trying to send my first email. I clicked so many buttons that I opened the calculator, the calendar, and the settings before I even found Outlook. My staff would gather around and laugh, and I laughed too. Why? Because it was funny. But more importantly, because I was learning most people want to look smart before they become smart. That's backwards. You don't get good by pretending to be perfect. You get good by being bad at something over and over again until you improve. You must be willing to look like a beginner because that's what you are. Every expert was once a confused amateur. Every master was once a rookie. If you're too proud to look silly, you're too proud to grow. So go ahead, ask the stupid questions. Try the thing you don't understand. Press the wrong buttons. Make mistakes. Laugh at yourself. Because every time you do, you get closer to understanding. And the people who laugh at you today, they'll be asking you for advice tomorrow. Remember, looking stupid is the tuition you pay for wisdom. Let me tell you the biggest lie people believe. If I fail, it's over. No, my friend, failure is just an event, not a person. You didn't fail. You experienced failure. Quitting, though, that's different. That's when you say, I'm done, no more. That's when the story ends. So don't quit. Pause if you must. Cry a little, eat some ice cream, but then get back up. Because your story is still being written. You know the best therapy? Laughter. When we messed up a major client contract early in Alibaba, we lost a lot of money. It was painful. But after the meeting, I gathered my team and said, well, that sucked. Who wants noodles? We laughed. Not because it was funny, but because we were still alive, still fighting. If you can laugh at your setbacks, you are stronger than the setback. The most powerful things in life are invisible. Faith, love, Wi-Fi. Believing in yourself when you have no results, no support, and no money, that's where greatness begins. When I told people in 1999 that I wanted to build a global e-commerce company from China, they laughed. They said, Jack, China is for factories, not the internet. But I believed in what I couldn't see, and today others see what I believed. You know the secret to success? Just show up every single day. Even when you're tired, even when you're scared, even when you just got rejected by a fried chicken joint. Success is not about talent. It's about tenacity. It's about outlasting the people who gave up. People fail because they chase money and recognition. But the real success comes when you serve. At Alibaba, we didn't focus on being big. We focused on solving problems for small businesses. That's what made us big. If you make life better for others, you will never lack opportunity. Serve first, success second. You are not your failed exam. You are not your broken relationship. You are not your bankrupt business. You are a fighter. You are a learner. You are a work in progress. Don't let one chapter define your whole book. Keep writing. The ending is not written yet. The reason why billionaires give motivational speeches is not because of their money, it's because of their mistakes. We've made so many, we now have a PhD in failing. I once made a deal that cost Alibaba $1 billion. Yes, billion with a B. Did I die? No. Did I learn? Oh, yes. Sometimes God uses your biggest failures to prepare you for your biggest blessings. Every time you fall, take something with you. A lesson, an idea, a new strategy. Your setback is a setup for your comeback. I want you to remember that the floor you hit is the foundation you will build from. My final message to you: be humble, because life can teach you something every day. Be hungry, because you have more in you than you think. Be foolish, because only the fools believe they can change the world. And sometimes they're the ones who do.